Aztec is focused on the two projects. We are at a stage of discovery, so we haven't quite yet quantified a resource at either of our projects. So we're still in a very exciting stage where early investors can make, we think, good returns. I will be making a few forward-looking statements during my presentation, so you're duly cautioned on that front and encouraged to review this disclaimer on our website. So as mentioned, we're an exploration stage company and we're focused on discovery of large-scale gold and silver and polymetallic mineral deposits. We're focused in world-class mining jurisdictions and have focused specifically in North America to source our projects. We have obtained recently a strategic investment from Alamos Gold, a mid-tier gold producer looking to be advancing to a senior producer over the coming years. A very key validation for our projects and our efforts in drilling. We have an experienced management and board. Many of our board members and our exploration team have been involved in discoveries, in developing mines, and in selling companies. We are focused in North America, but specifically in southeastern Arizona. Arizona is one of the top mining jurisdictions in the United States, and more particularly, we're located on private patented mining claims. So we actually own the mining claims. We are therefore subject to a much more reasonable amount of regulatory scrutiny when it comes to permitting for mining operations. We own the Tombstone property in a 75% joint venture with partners who contribute their share of the costs. In Mexico, we own a 100% interest in the Cervantes porphyry gold project. This is a recent 100% acquisition for us. Up until about 2 years ago, we owned but 65% in this property. We're drilling at both, so over the last 4 years, we've been able to fund and execute on 3 drilling programs at each properties. The first 2 programs yielded discoveries, and the second and third programs at each property have to date been successful in expanding these discoveries. So we're still very much in that discovery stage, have not found the limits of mineralization at either of our properties. What we found so far really at each property is an oxide cap to what we believe is a deeper and higher grade system at each. So in the case of Cervantes in Mexico, it's a gold copper porphyry focus. We've made the gold discovery first, and as we continue to explore, we hope to find the copper gold source. And Tombstone Silver District that many might be familiar with through Western lore and through Hollywood movies. So we actually own the old mining claims south of the town of Tombstone that attracted all of the colorful characters that populated the area in the late 1800s and some of whose families still reside there today. And that's a district that's known for underground mining of high-grade silver, but more recently in the 1980s was subject to open pit heap leach mining of both gold and silver, and a good operation there that lasted for about 10 years until the metals price sold off in the early 90s. So we've now had an opportunity to go in there, drill in the pit, and expand on that shallow, open pittable, potentially heap leachable oxide mineralization. We've had very good results there with headlines of 32 meters of over 6.2 grams gold equivalent, 65.5 meters of 3.4 grams gold equivalent, and most recently, back in April and May, we drilled our first indication of the famous bonanza grade silver that the district is known for. We intersected 1.5 meters over 3,400 grams per ton silver. Our deeper CRD carbonate replacement style deposit target has yet to be drilled on that property. That's something that we're eager to unfold to the market over the coming months here. Cap structure-wise, we're at about 100 million shares outstanding, trading at about 20 cents a share, discounted both in comparison to our peers at $20 million in market cap, but also discounted to our last 5-year trading range. And really, you know, I think it's worth explaining a bit of the sell-off that you can see on this chart. You know, oftentimes companies get sold for good reasons. They have bad news. The commodity goes out of favor, etc. Really, we saw a lot of selling due to an investor of ours just having to liquidate stock. It was another junior company coming under hard times. So I think you see a little bit of an uptick in our share price over the past couple of months. That's an indication that the market believes that they're getting out of the way. So I think it's an excellent opportunity to take a look at what we're up to here. Quickly on the map slide, so you can see we're focused in the two different countries, but we're really about a 6-hour drive between our two projects. So it's a good focus on what we believe to be the top jurisdictions within both Mexico and the United States. Zooming in a little bit on the Mexican property here, you can see we're about 40 kilometers away from the Mulatos mine. This is owned by Alamos Gold. They are now our largest shareholder. They have come into our story now on the last 3 financings, on the strength of the discovery that we made there, and the continued growth of that gold project. It's a large project. I won't get too much into geology here, but we have identified 11 separate targets along a 6-kilometer trend of outcropping porphyry mineralization. We have focused our drilling, however, on one target known as the California Zone and now the California North Zone. This has been the strongest shallow oxide gold target to date, and it has now seen approximately 12,000 meters of drilling over 67 holes, 13 of which we drilled over November and December of 2023. And we have, just as of Thursday, begun to release the results of those drill holes. And just a really quick primer on what we've done, you can see a view looking east of the mineralized zone. The key takeaways on this is that we have a mineralized ridgeline with the gold mineralization starting really from the drill collar, and it's oxidized down to 100 meters plus. We've now drilled off over 1.1 kilometers in strike length and up to 730 meters in width in this zone, and it continues to grow. On Thursday, we released our first step-out drill hole, Cal 23034. This is really the furthest extent of mineralization that we've seen in this already quite large zone, and it returned a nice intersection, 30 meters of a gram, but most notably, it bottomed in bad ground, so we lost the hole, unfortunately, sooner than we'd hoped, but it bottomed in high-grade gold mineralization. Some of the samples close to the bottom averaged almost 14 grams per ton gold over 5 feet. And you can see on this plan view, we have not yet tested the full extent of our gold and soil anomaly that identified this anomaly in the first place. Quick, just look at our highlight reel here. So, very consistent results throughout that ridge line. Headline hole of 137 meters, averaging 1.5 grams gold, followed by 165 meters of a gram. And we can see down the list, you're starting to see good widths of a typical heap leach grade for that part of the world. We've started to model this up. You can see the highest grades of mineralization reside just under the ridge line. So potential for mining here looks promising, with the potential for quite a low strip ratio. Metallurgy, I mean, this is a key question for anybody considering open pit heap leaching. We've done 2 rounds of bottle roll tests. We can see good recoveries in the oxide groups and even good recoveries down in the sulfide groups with stable curves, most of the gold being leached in the first 24 to 48 hours. That will be further explored as we move forward here. So prospective property, we could talk about it lots in a Q&A perhaps at our booth, but I'd like to save a few minutes to talk about our second flagship. This is the Tombstone Silver District. What we're looking at here is an outline of our patented claim group and an outline of the historic past producing open pit heap leach mine. This has been the focus of our shallow drilling. We were literally scratching the surface of this property. We cannot wait to get back and drill here. And why we can't wait is we want to follow up on that bonanza grade of silver mineralization that we drilled to the west of the pit last year. We've put 50 drill holes into this over our 3 rounds of drilling. Almost every single one has hit really, really impressive widths in the context of the typical Western U.S. heap leach average grade of maybe 0.4 to 0.6 grams per ton gold. As you'll see in a slide here in a moment, our drilling results over the last 3 years are really much higher grade in comparison. And this is open in virtually all of the compass directions around the pit. So here's the highlight reel. You can see that these drill results are really spread out over those 3 programs in 2020, 21, and later in 23, with a headline of 65.5 meters of approximately 3.4 grams gold equivalent. And, I'll just note here, this is not a 43-101 compliant way to report drill results. Speaking about grade thickness, So you're cautioned that it can't be construed as a gross metal value. But if you look at our top 10 list here, we have 10 holes that exceed 100 gram meters and 4 that exceed 200. So for a company that's only drilled 6,500 meters over 50 holes, that's a pretty good hit rate. So, hopefully that explains a little bit why we're excited to get back and drill here. And now with that more interesting macro backdrop that Chen so eloquently laid out for us earlier. Chen also mentioned our deep CRD potential. So this is a target that we have way below the pit, around 600 meters in depth, where previous operators have started to scratch the surface of some higher grade sulfide mineralization. So a target that we're also keen to drill test as we continue to grow this oxide, gold, and silver zone, and really work our way down into the limestones below the oxidized layer. Just a little bit of geophysics also showing you where these CRD targets lie at a 600 meter depth, so way below the pit, and noting that those historic drill intersections that we had on the previous slide were really constrained to the north end of the pit. So we have a bullseye target there that we continue to study and we'll drill in due course. There's a view back into the pit. This is a past producer. This is private land in Arizona. It's really a perfect setup for a nascent gold and silver bull market. A lot of the permitting questions that other explorers have, we simply don't have due to this wonderful mining legacy that you have in Tombstone, Arizona. We've been busy over the last couple of years. We've raised $6 million. We've deployed that money judiciously over 3 drill programs. We're hitting on each one. We have drill results pending over the next coming weeks. And I would encourage investors to reach out if there are any questions. We think it's at a compelling value here. It's a catalyst-rich story in the right commodity. So I thank you for joining us for the presentation.